setting sun.
I have returned fresh and anew from the world of blood, violence and Star Trek to speak of a game I never thought I'd find and an experience I'd never forget. Since my last review, I've experimented with Harry Potter and the King of the Dunkin' Donuts, Kane and Lynch and skippable cutscenes, Hellboy to taunt my boyfriend, House of the Dead Overkill, Boy and How, and Heavy Rain or How to Psychologically Scar an Unsuspecting Player using the R1 and X buttons. I have emerged from ankle-deep pools of gore, violence and processor-chugging graphics to discover a gem on PlayStation Network. Whilst I managed to pull myself away from Command & Conquer 4 and Star Trek DEC, boy I have been busy, haven't I? I downloaded a couple of games to my hard drive and the only one that matters is Sony's own game, Flower. Okay, it's a game named after heterosporangiate angiosperms, but there's more to it than that. The instruction manual consists of tilt the controls and press any button. Where's the challenge in that, perhaps? Well, there is one actually. Flower isn't so much action and adventure as probably categorised as exploration. Exploration is an all too rare genre in this day and age of shooters, spires and flyers. If you can take your mind back to the original PlayStation to a game called Aquanaut's Holiday, you'll recall another exploration game. They are few and far between, possibly because people are too busy either playing Peggle or zapping enemies into billions of tiny blood-spouting bits of human flesh. While the latter seems like a great way to lose an afternoon, I like a variety in my otherwise tumultuous life. Aquanaut's Holiday was my first PlayStation game. I thought it was the best game on earth for a long time. The plot was this. You are in an underwater vehicle. You can go wherever you want in a huge reef, bump into as many fish or life forms as you can, see as much as you can, and the more you see, the more resources you get to build your own reef and attract more fish and bump into them all over again. I played the game for hours and hours, mostly enjoying the freedom of floating up and down and giggling at the little squeak noises fish made when you ploughed into them at Mach 2. Most of all, there was no time limit, no live system, no game over, no risk of failure. That certainly pleased me, being the unco gamer I was at the time. Fast forward 10 years later and I still can't save the world with the controller, but instead of being underwater, the sky becomes my limit. I'm hesitant to study the game as an art form or grand piece of commentary on life, but there's little more you can do with a game that explains itself only when you play it. You could say it represents the grass being greener on the other side, or it allows some of our harmless human desires to fly. Flower is essentially freedom. You take control of a single flower petal that eventually becomes hundreds. You can float around, explore, collect more petals until you have a rainbow of colour under your command, or fly as far as you dare go across open fields. Flower takes you on a journey from the liberation and joy of lush green fields and sunshine to the danger of electrical lines and pitch dark night. When fear closes in, and with an army of flowers at your disposal, your job is to break free once again. The music in Flower is absolutely beautiful. It suits each scene, movement and situation. The flowers themselves also create their own music. You can race through patches of flowers creating colour and melody, or you can float by slowly at your own pace, playing the tune out of order. The aim of most games is to finish it ASAP on crack style, or to liberate planet Earth from the evil Dr. Zog, before he triggers his medium-sized minor inconvenience device detonator. In comparison, Flower is an experience to savour, to experiment, and to take at your own pace. It's whatever you want it to be. Inside all of us is an incessant need to break free and go nuts. Mine, while usually harbouring violent tendencies to put Freddy Krueger to shame, was most satisfied when I was gliding my technicoloured petal rainbow across the sky, fighting the wind instead of the usual flashy humanoids, and painting smiley faces onto grass fields. As the game builds, the world becomes sinister, darker, more threatening and intense. This doesn't change the flowers, they're still there. Harder to find, but the colour is still there. I flew around like an invincible god until I hit power lines and singed a few petals, smoked and then crashed to the ground out of control. I then learned quickly not to touch a hot stove twice, but the desire to destroy the accursed power lines caused me to sacrifice more petals until finally the green grass returned and the sparks of electricity died. This all culminates in an epic battle of nature versus iron, steel and voltage. It's floral-fueled metallic genocide. Or you can look at it in the gamer's arts window and see it as a symbol of beauty destroying the ugly side of life, the sinister high-voltage steel girdery bits. The sheer power and energy you feel smashing through barriers and buckling solid steel, reaching nothing but sky is invigorating, especially with music praising your petal-made battering ram's every move. Just about any positive and powerful emotion you can feel comes to your head at that moment when you break free into a world of colour once again and resume your adventure. If you enjoy the idea of escapism, exploration and action-triggered music, Flower is for you. If you're narrow-minded and prefer to play safe, keep up with the zombie games and gore. At least a few of us have found our equivalent of paradise.